Hi, my name is John Granberry, and this is my case study for Internet use violations, threats over the World Wide Web. Category 1, Problem Identification. What I know. Dr. Forbes has a great reputation as a school leader. Roosevelt High is in an affluent area. Miss Walker is a highly educated second-year teacher. She has a very rigorous classroom with high expectations and a serious instructional approach, which leads to high stress levels. There's intense competition for grades, causing parents to complain. An email and a website were created to cause harm to Miss Walker, and some evidence of implied malice exists. Dr. Forbes has made suggestions to Miss Walker to improve her classroom, but she has yet to implement those changes to the degree that he wishes. What we need to know: who sent the email? Did the same person develop the website? How many people were involved and how many knew? Was this done on a school computer or at home? Was a grade in jeopardy? If it was Randy Franks, has he done this before in another class? Or is this his modus operandi? Is Miss Walker's approach in her classroom creating a toxic environment which led to this email? Is there implied malice? So what is the problem? How do we balance support for Miss Walker and her rigorous structured classroom and achieving a more positive student interactions from Miss Walker? How do we hold students accountable for their actions? And how do we reestablish a positive relationship between Miss Walker and Randy Franks? How do we help alleviate the distraction to the learning environment and return things back to normal? And how do we maintain a positive communication with our patrons? This is my plan of action. First step is to find out who created the web page and email. Second is to inform the superintendent and Board of Education. 3 is talk to the KASB legal department and possibly law enforcement. Step 4 is get help from Miss Walker. Step 5, interview students. Step 6, send out communications to parents and teachers. Conference with parents. If the offender is identified, we need to pursue application of the discipline plan and technology use violations and reestablish a relationship between Miss Walker and Randy Franks. So here's our strategies. To find out who created the web page and email, I would make hard copies and of the web page and email that was sent to Miss Walker. I would talk to the IT guy or our internet service provider and find out who created this website and who sent the email to determine if we could find the time that this was sent, to see if this happened on the school grounds or if this was at home. A lot of that will depend upon what happens with our punishment and levels that will accompany that. We need to talk to students, including Randy Franks, to see if they know who created the web page and sent the emails. The next thing I would do is to inform the superintendent of Board of Education. There's information could be very damaging for all parties concerned, and I would want to get the word out to both the superintendent and Board of Education, and to keep them apprised of all the details as information comes forth. In talking to the KASB, Kansas Association of School Boards, they have a legal department, and possibly talk to law enforcement as well, just to our school resource officer to see what he thinks about the whole situation. Our district has a cooperating KASB district, so we would be able to contact them and find out, what their thoughts are, if there's any implied malice, if this is something that the school district will want to file suit over, or possibly Miss Walker. So we could find out what options Miss Walker has and what the school needs to do to support her and at the same time limit its liability. I would be talking to our school resource officer as well again, and to see what we need to do on the law enforcement side. Get help from Miss Walker. I would have a sit-down face-to-face meeting with Miss Walker and to discuss how we can begin to move forward. Another member of the administration or I would make sure that we are in class for the first few days to monitor how things are going, and I would choose to be there for her safety and to help her reduce the amount of drama that would be occurring in the room. I would want to make sure that Miss Walker does not have a mentor, or I would assign her one, a highly qualified and seasoned senior staff member who understands how to achieve a positive interaction and still have high expectations. Having a mentor is incredibly important, especially within the first 3 years of her teaching. Taking into account that this is a more affluent area, I would believe that the district would probably have more resources available because of the higher tax base. And that being said, I would ask her if there's any staff development that we could send her to dealing with parents' expectations and students. Interviewing students. I would start by investigating and calling a few students in to the office and interview them. Probably not Randy Frank straight away, but I would call him in eventually just to see, what his, the allegations that have been made and who Miss Walker thinks it might be. I would call the others in first just to get an idea of what might be going on and see who might know what. A lot of times there's other people who know what's going on outside of the people who did it. Once I have a better idea who perpetrated the action, I would call him or her or them in to question them, and I would find out if this was done at school, on a school computer, or somewhere else. And once that was done, I would follow our discipline plan that we have in place currently. The next thing I would do is send out a communication to the parents and teachers. I think it's going to be important to get the word out to the parents, especially because we're in an affluent area. The teachers are going to want to know as well to find out who created it. I'm sure the word's going to be around that everyone's going to know what's already happened. I think that both teachers and parents deserve to know and may open up the conversation to other patrons as well. But I would say they're free to call, and if they have any concerns, I will tell them that we're being proactive and we would like to keep everyone informed. Conference with the parents. Once the student or students are identified, I would be calling them and their parents to set up a meeting to discuss both the legal and ethical ramifications of the student's actions. During this conference call, I will outline the student's actions and the evidence that we have found. Any information that we obtained through KASB and our SRO on the legal issues, I will share this with the parents so that everyone is on the same page. Once the offender is identified, we're going to pursue action of the discipline plan and technology violations. We have a discipline matrix, and we'll match the category with the offense. We'll look at the student files in our Power School to see if this is a problem. If whoever it is, Randy Franks or another student, will try to figure out what would be the best plan of action and what would be appropriate punishment. If the act was committed at school, they would lose their privileges for the remainder of the school year. If this was done away from school, I would probably call it a significant disruption to the learning environment and would recommend probably ISS for 1 week. I would do this because of the drama that's been created. I would want to let all of this action dissipate, and that'll happen over time. We will work with the staff and let them know that the student will lose the technology privileges. This is going to be a problem if they're still doing reports and stuff like that, and they're going to need to be using computers. We'll have to make some accommodations or figure out how we're going to supervise them. If it has to be over their back, sitting behind their back and watching them use the computers, we can do that. I think a really important strategy that I hope other people are getting is reestablishing the relationship between Miss Walker and Randy Franks. Um, I would want Randy and Miss Walker to be able to, they need to start sitting down and they need to come to terms with some of the things that have happened. And I think that's partly, on the shoulders of Miss Walker as the teacher. She's also the role model, and we are modeling what we want from our students. Um, and I agree that we need to have rigorous standards, and um, uh, but I don't want to I don't want it to be the point where kids are, upset about coming to school. So we need to balance that. But I think that relationship has to be mended before we can kind of move on and get things headed in the right direction. Um, I would resolve the issues based on promoting the success for all students. What is best for all students? To treat all students fairly, equitably, and to go to bat for the students when need be. I think we gather all the information that we can on the incident to find out the facts. We need to communicate with the parents and other community members to keep everyone apprised. We need to ensure that the instructional time is focused and that high quality with few distractions. We need to balance a rigorous instructional program with an environment of high expectations, putting students' needs first, and make sure that this is a teachable moment for the students and the staff. This is what I was thinking. This is a teachable moment. I want the students and the staff to learn from this and not let it ruin our year. This is a very serious problem, and the repercussions are going to be severe. I have a feeling that this is not over because of the affluence of the neighborhood. Some parents are not going to let this rest and will not support the school. They will see this, that they're hurting their child, and what I mean is they're going to hurt them twice. Once because you hurt their grade, and now you're hurting them again um, in terms of um, now you're making them have a week of ISS. So I think there's going to be some very upset parents who are going to want to take action again. This is what I was feeling. Miss Walker may have had a little bit of an egoistic approach in her classroom, and I see Mrs. Walker maybe prone to exaggeration a little bit, just the way she responded to Dr. Forbes. It seems like there's a lot of drama. That's just my interpretation. And I would think because of the affluent neighborhood, the students may be getting what they want without hard work, which maybe encourage some of this, and there may be some enabling going on. My values: Miss Walker strive to push her students to make a rigorous classroom rigorous and not back down from the parents. I liked how Principal Dr. Forbes had a very calming nature in this, in dealing with Miss Walker, and I liked it that he noticed that there was a lot of stress in Miss Walker's room and decided to give her some strategies that she could use to reduce that. Unresolved issues. Miss Walker's too hard overall, the rest, or is Mrs. Walker's class too hard, or are the rest too easy? Is this a case of implied malice? Is there an underlying issue with Randy Franks and Miss Walker? Component 1, demonstration of integrity and ethics. I did my due diligence in investigating the problem. I did not place blame on anyone until I had all the facts, and I held all the parties responsible. Treating people fairly, I called in the parents and gave them their chance to voice their opinion. I applied the discipline based on our discipline plan and not by my personal feelings, and I kept things quiet. I did not go and tell details to everyone and spreading rumors because of FERPA, basically. Component 3, I did not take a side, and I weighed all the evidence. I provided extra support and training for Miss Walker when things were not going well, and I want this to be a teachable moment for the students and staff, and we can all do things better. This was a great learning experience for me. I hope I didn't rush through it too much here at the end, and thank you very much.